we talked about where he could possibly be, and then we went from there and led to calling the cops, and here we are now.
Alright guys, welcome back to another Sebastian Rogers video, and again I'm going to be going live tonight to talk about a very sensitive subject. I've just got a question about Mr. Proudfoot, so y'all do not want to miss tonight's live, so I want your input on that as well. But with this, we know when Sebastian went missing, you know, Katie drove around looking for him. You know, she talked to Chris and said she couldn't find Sebastian. Then at some point, they made the decision to call the police. Right. And there's been a lot of things said about the way they've called the police. You know, they called in directly. They didn't dial 911. Now, the way I see it, if Chris Proudfoot called 911 from Memphis, he would have got Memphis dispatch. He wouldn't have got Sumner County dispatch. And for Memphis dispatch to transfer him to Sumner County, that might have been, you know, working itself. You know, Chris said he was in the tower. He was in the crane. All right. Why didn't Katie call 911? She's already in Sumner County. It would make more sense for her to call 911 because she's there. You know, don't have to worry about looking up the main number to call them. You've got a 3-digit number that you can call. So, yeah, I mean, what's up with that, guys? Why didn't Katie call 911? Now, maybe she did. Maybe she did. But the other thing, too, is if Chris looked up the main numbers for Sumner County Sheriff's Office and called them, and it was that early in the morning, even if you were to call the main number during normal business hours and you had an issue, I've done this too, guys. I have done this. And I can probably call Sullivan County Sheriff's Office. I can call their main number. And there'll be an option on there for you to speak to dispatch. Or if I tell them I've got an issue, they'll transfer me to dispatch. You guys can do this too. You can experiment with your own. Or just call your local sheriff's office during normal business hours on the non-emergency number, like the normal business number for your local sheriff's office. And just ask them, say, if I had an issue, would you transfer me to dispatch? And I guarantee you they would say yes. Because that, you know, a dispatcher needs that critical information in real time to pass it along to officers while they're en route. The woman sitting behind the desk as a receptionist can't do that. And what a lot of people don't know is, once you are transferred to dispatch, in some cases, dispatch actually picks up the phone in after hours operations at the sheriff's department. A lot of times dispatch will just pick up. But if Chris called the main number, I would bet you 100% he was transferred to dispatch, and dispatch sent out the information to the officers. And that call was recorded. Okay, guys? I will bet you that there's information out there that someone could give to somebody, or may have given already to somebody, that a recorded call between Chris and Katie, possibly, depending on if they both called, recorded phone calls with dispatch exists. Now, old Don B's about to make a point. Seth, being the biological father of Sebastian Rogers, if I were Seth, I would hire, or he's probably already got an attorney, but if I were Seth, I would have my attorney try like hell to get those recorded phone calls to see exactly what Chris or Katie told dispatch and how they told it to them. You know, were they acting like it was just another day, like it wasn't nothing? Could you tell in their voices that they were freaking out? Could you tell in their voices that something was wrong? And again, I've watched many crime documentaries. You know, there's been many people that have called 911 after committing murder, and they were freaking out. You know, it's, you know, after you've committed the crime, if you call 911, you've got to put on the show. I've watched it many times on TV, on these documentaries about all these killers and stuff. You know, they sound pretty convincing on the dispatch call. But if I was Seth, I'd be doing everything in my power to get a hold of those recorded phone calls. And Don B thinks they do exist. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure I know they exist. But yeah, if I was Seth, I would be going through some legal means to get a hold of those recordings if he could. Maybe it'll give him, I mean, who knows? Maybe there's some red flags in what Chris and Katie said to dispatchers. Maybe there's some red flags in that. Maybe there's some red flags in what Don Wells said to dispatchers in the Summer Wells case. You know, they've not released the audio recording of Don talking to the dispatchers. They believe me, they are keeping that one very close to the vest. You can't even do a FOIA on it. They will not let that recording, that 911 recording of Don calling, or Don talking to dispatch, they will not release that to the public. Tried many times. So what red flags are in, you know, if police have not released the audio of Chris talking to dispatch, and I would bet you 100% they do exist, why won't they release it? And I wonder if Seth has legal rights to hear Chris or Katie calling 911. I wonder if he has legal rights to do that, to hear that. So, something to think about, guys. And Seth, if you're watching this, something to think about there, bud. You might have legal rights to have investigators let you listen to that 911 call that Chris or Katie made. You have the right to listen to their voices, their demeanor. Might be some red flags in it. Might not, but, I mean, be something worth listening to in Don B's opinion. So anyway, guys, that's it. I'll see you tonight at 9 p.m. Very interesting live stream. Can't wait to hear what you guys think. I'll see you then.